few days ago, the most ambitious crossover in YouTube history hit the internet. Great video essayists came together to make videos about their favorite scenes from one of the most successful franchises in cinematic history. And I thought it would be a good time to throw in my 2 cents as a fan of both these movies and these great content creators. From the title, you might have already guessed that this video is about the scene from Captain America Civil War, where Zemo breaks down his motivation for inciting the civil war amongst our heroes. I've broken the video down into 2 main sections: what makes this a good scene and what takes it beyond that and makes it a great one. So, to start off, it's a good scene because of its simplicity. Let me outline what I mean by that. There are 2 characters. One of them is already on the scene, the other one enters. There's only 3 props: the phone with the voicemail on it, the pistol, and T'Challa's badass suit. The environment they're in is cold, frigid, and devoid of anything that could draw focus away from the interaction between our 2 characters. This is a confrontation, and that's all the directors want us to focus on here. We've seen T'Challa start off as an outsider, removed from his familiar setting of Wakanda. He's learning the ropes of diplomacy from his father, and then he's thrust into the story because his father is blown to bits. He's then unofficially in charge of a whole country, takes on the mantle of the Black Panther, and sets out to hunt his father's killer. This scene is where he finally confronts the killer. Our other character is the main antagonist, Zemo. He's a bit of a mystery. Yes, we know his motivation is probably because of the damage done to his family. Yes, we know his plan is to make the Avengers crumble from within. But then what? What does he want to do after that? Does he want to take over the world? Establish a Masters of Evil? We don't know that, and we explore that here. We start the scene with Zemo listening to the last voicemail sent by his wife, and Black Panther entering with his claws out. Black Panther seems to have calmed down a little bit after he realizes that he almost killed the wrong man, a brainwashed man, and his vengeance is now redirected to Zemo. Zemo seems unfazed by this, and he deletes the voicemail, meaning he has achieved his goal and he's completely at peace. He then explains his reason for wanting to destroy the Avengers. We learn that his family got destroyed in Sokovia in the wake of the battle against Ultron. These great and powerful figures, the Avengers, were so busy duking it out with Ultron and trying to evacuate the city that they could not save the surrounding areas. And then they just go home without thinking of the repercussions. This anguish causes Zemo to go from an ex-military officer, someone who protects people, innocent people and civilians, to a misguided madman who blows up a car bomb near a UN meeting. His motivation is pure vengeance, and after he has accomplished his task, we see that he means to kill himself, as indicated by the pistol. He understands revenge. That's why even after T'Challa enters, Zemo doesn't try to defend himself, because he understands vengeance and is willing to allow T'Challa to exact revenge. One really cool thing I noticed about this scene is that during Zemo's exposition, every successive shot, with the exception of this first one, gets progressively closer to Zemo's face. We start off with a shot where both Zemo and Black Panther are within the frame. Then, Zemo's face is a lot closer in the foreground, while Black Panther is fuzzy and out of focus. And finally, Zemo is occupying most of our screen. We see his emotion, his anguish, very clearly. And it is apparent from the voice as well. Good bit of acting by Daniel Brühl. Now we see how T'Challa was affected by all of this. We zoom into his face, and we see that there is some comprehension. He's beginning to understand the motivations, and he's beginning to see a little bit of himself within Zemo. He sees what pure vengeance looks like, how it can turn a good man into a madman. And that's when we get the best bit of acting from Chadwick Boseman in the entire franchise.
Vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me. Justice will come soon enough.
Tell that to the dead.
The living are not done with you yet.
And now we see a resolution. T'Challa shows mercy. He retracts his claws. He understands that in order to do what's right, he has to bring Zemo in and not kill him. It's more than just mercy. He chooses justice and is now on the path to become a better king. This resolution is actually kind of unique in the MCU. It's the first time, I think, where a primary antagonist has not been killed and has got away reasonably unscathed. This is kind of a break in tradition for the MCU. We've seen so far, whether it's Iron Man or Ant-Man, whenever a new hero is introduced on screen, the primary antagonist does something that harms our hero personally, and that causes a physical confrontation as the only form of resolution. In this case, we've seen that the resolution was non-violent, and more than that, it takes place over the course of one scene. We've seen T'Challa go from vengeful and full of hatred to being guarded, to being unsure, to being compassionate. Okay, we've seen what makes this a good scene. There's good acting, good camera work, and a pretty unique resolution. Now, on to what makes this a great scene. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around the ramifications of this 2-minute 20-second scene. It has far-reaching effects on both the plot of this movie and future movies. Black Panther started off in Team Iron Man, and by the end of this, he's in Team Captain America. He actually helps Cap and Bucky escape from Siberia, takes them to Wakanda, and as the end credit scene shows, helps Bucky get rid of his brainwashing and his programming. His change of heart not only causes him to change sides, but he also ends up helping our broken heroes. Think about it, this is probably also the first time anyone has brought outsiders into Wakanda. This is the true beginning of Wakanda opening up to the world, of Wakanda being a part of the MCU. If not for this event, the small but powerful nation might have stayed hidden in the shadows a little bit longer. It wouldn't have stepped out into the spotlight until Killmonger came along and gave everyone a rude awakening. And even after that, there is no guarantee that they would have helped out during the events of the Infinity War. Analyzing this scene shows how the smallest of actions or inaction can have far-reaching effects. It helps to draw a character's arc, a story, a plot, and even has ramifications on the universe in which these characters exist. I love every element of this scene. All the little technical pieces we get to see on the screen are nuggets of gold. And I love all the far-reaching consequences that happen because of this one scene. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Good writing, acting, and directing make this scene pretty damn good. Great storytelling, great character development, and great world building makes this scene really great. But putting these two elements together makes the scene, well, quite simply, marvelous.